brew day. So, doing go this 4 minutes. Salted caramel water. Yum yum. Okay, so let's see from the recipe: 4 kilograms of marisota, 300 grams of caramel crystal malt, 240 grams of chocolate malt, 230 grams of carapils, and 150 grams of black malt. So the caramel flavour that we want for this is, in the recipe here I've originally put dime bars, but I changed my mind and I've actually made my own caramel brittle kind of stuff, which is really easy to make. Just a shit ton of sugar, boil it for 15 minutes till it goes nice and brown, and just pour it out onto a baking sheet and let it set for 10 minutes, and you've got a nice brittle caramel sweet thing, which would be really great to add to the boil right at the last minute, give it that kind of caramel flavour. And of course I've got 28 grams of sea salt as well to add to it. So right now I'm going to weigh out the grain bill and get that ready for mashing in now that my strike water is up to temperature. Cool, so here's the grain bill. You can see a lot of nice dark malts in there. I'm about to get the mash tun ready, pour all this in, and get this mash in. Mash tun's ready, so I've got my mesh bag, just to make sure that I don't need to worry about any grain that's going to fall through. I've got my mash tun sat here with a silicone hose which runs to the pump which is attached to my HLT. So I'm going to try for the first time ever is I'm going to try and underlet my water rather than pouring it over the top. I've seen it done a lot on other YouTube videos, so I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like. If I don't like it, I won't do it again, but you don't know till you try it here, so let's see what happens. Okay, interesting, so we've got pumps going, so we get a little 12-volt pump, but it seems to do the job. Water's going down, so it's going through this tube into the mash tun, and start to see water coming in at the bottom here. Cool, it's quite weird sitting here watching water come in from the bottom and watching the grain start to move up and down. Cool, so we've got it starting to working nicely. So far so good. Nearly there, nearly run out. Pleased with underletting as a method. Worked really well. Gave this a little bit of a stir. No dough balls whatsoever. Just really nice moisturised grain. I'm now going to put the lid on, leave this to sit and mash for an hour. Obviously halfway through I'm going to start recirculation, so I'll be back for that. Recirculating. Pump coming out of the mash tun into my Hermes coil. Temperature set to 68 degrees. Currently the temperature is a bit higher than that, it's at 72. Okay, it should drop in a minute. Yeah, we'll leave it to do its stuff for half an hour. And then once this finishes, we'll get on to doing our sparge. Okay, so we got asparaging. Got nice, look at that lovely dark liquid we've got there. It's looking amazing. Time to get everything turned on. Sparge water coming through the fly sparge. We got our wort nicely coming out of the mash tun. So we're looking good, looking good. Oh yeah. So I got the pre-boil gravity of 1046. Trying to hit pre-boil. According to this, pre-boil is, well, I'm looking for a measure, an OG of 1046. So I think by the looks of it, I'm way above what I'm going to need. Where's my pre-boil? Estimated original, no, estimated, okay, 1047. So it looks like I'm going to make my numbers, which is really good. Can't find where the pre-boil is. Soil temperature, nope, can't find it. Anyway, I'm making my numbers, which is good, because I'm already on 1046, and I've got an estimated OG of 1047, so looking good. This fucking boil's taking absolutely ages to reach temperature. You can see it's just starting to get there. You can see a little bit of where the hot break's going to appear. But it's taking forever today. Must be, its temperature's dropped quite a lot in the UK. It's now, well, 20 degrees outside, 20 degrees Celsius. So anyway, hot break's going to happen soon. As soon as it does, oh, look, oh, exciting. As soon as it does, I'm going to chuck in my first hop additions. So hopefully give this another 5 minutes and we should start to see a boil happening, and I can chuck in my hops and then leave it to boil for an hour before I move on to the next stage. Long fucking last, we've finally got the hop break. Okay, so the boil's starting now. I'm going to set my timer for 60 minutes. I've got 50 grams of Northern Brewer hops I'm about to chuck in. These are the hops that I grew myself and I harvested a couple of weeks ago. There's like a little stray leaves falling off there. So really nice to be brewing a beer with homegrown hops that I grew myself. So here we go. Just chuck this in, give this a stir, and then we'll come back in an hour. Here we are. So the last 10 minutes left of the boil, and it's time to add the kind of the special ingredients which are going to make this a salted caramel porter. So I've got here 28 grams of sea salt, which I'm just going to sprinkle in. Should be interesting. Never added salt to a beer before, so should be really interesting. Then I've got what I've got here is 150 grams of caramel, which I cooked myself earlier, which was a really easy thing to do. I sprinkled it with a bit of salt because it made it taste really nice. So it was, I don't know, about 250-300 grams of sugar. I just did it by eye, with a little bit of water in a saucepan. Boil for 15 minutes until it starts to turn nice brown golden colour. And I'm just going to add that, chuck that into the boil here. I'm going to give that a stir. Let's get that last bit out. Right, let's go. There you go. So I'm just going to give that a stir. Stir in the that caramel, let that melt into the wort. Leave this to boil for another 10 minutes. Then it's time, flame out, so it'll be time to start cooling this thing. Okay, so brew's finished. Trying to get the wort down to pitching temperature. At the moment you can see it's about 50 degrees Celsius, so needs to chill a little bit longer so that I can try and get it ready for pitching. I'm going to try and take a refractometer reading as well. See if we can get a good starting gravity. See if we've made our numbers. See if we can get these numbers. So really hard to do using my phone, this is. So you can see here, I don't know how clearly you can see that. I don't know how clear that is. But I've managed to hit a starting gravity of 1.050, which is cool. Oh, you what? So here I am, chilling my wort, and you can see it is a grim British Sunday afternoon here. I don't know how quite clearly you can see that it's been raining, and it is proper horrible. Although, to be honest, I should be quite thankful, because right now, battering the coast of Florida is Hurricane Irma. So, you know, the fact that we've got a little bit of rain this afternoon isn't that bad compared to what they're getting. In the fermentation chamber, ready to go. I'm going to close the door on this little beauty, leave it at 19.5 degrees for 2 weeks, and there's no need, there's no dry hopping or anything like that, which makes a change. So yeah, see this little beauty in 2 weeks, so I'll go ready to keg it up. So it's kegging day. Here we are with my nicely sanitised, cleaned and sanitised keg. Don't think you can see inside, it's just black in there because it's, yeah, go on, focus, there you go. Okay, cool. So we have our salted caramel porter. It's done 14 days, 13 days actually, in the fermenter. I've taken a gravity reading, it's come out at 1.013, so it's gone past what I expected it to on its final gravity. Sitting there at the moment at 20 degrees. So I'm going to siphon this off, dump it in the keg. I think I've got about 20 litres here, and the keg holds 19, so I'm probably going to have a couple of bottles that I'm going to need to bottle as well, but that's okay. So here we go. Okay, so keg is filled and primed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, sorry, it's night time here, so lighting's probably pretty shit. So what I'm going to take is, I'm going to take to the inlet valve, which is this valve here. I'm going to put my gas line to the inlet valve, clicked in nicely. I'm going to turn my gas line on, and I'm just going to basically pressurize my keg so that as it starts to, you know, condition and produce its own gas, just to let you know that I primed it. There's water stains down the side there, looks disgusting, but it's only water stains. So I've basically primed my keg with about 90 grams of brown muscovado sugar, just to, as it's conditioning, to get it to produce its own gases and to force it to carbonate itself whilst it's sitting in a pressurized keg. So I find that works really well. So that when what I normally do is, after about a week, I stick the keg into the kegerator and just leave it again for about a week. And then after about a week, so it's been sitting around in the keg for 2 weeks, I've got some really nicely conditioned carbonated beer ready to drink. So I'm just going to pressurize this keg now. So at the moment, obviously it's got no pressure in there. There's a layer of oxygen, you know, only a little bit because it was filled pretty much to the top. There's a layer of oxygen in the top, so I'm just going to add some gas. I'm going to turn the tap on. Turn it on. Okay, so that's some gas. I'm going to do the release valve. Just let some air out. Okay, so I know that's all CO2 in there now. I'm going to turn the gas valve off. I'm going to release the fitting, and now I've got a nicely pressurised keg sitting there with beer waiting to condition over the next couple of weeks. So I'm just going to leave that to one side. Yeah, let me pick that up and dump that with my other keg on the floor. And that's just going to sit there now for 2 weeks. Don't worry, that bin's not food waste, it's cardboard and stuff. So yeah, leave that there for a week, and then I'm going to put it in the kegerator for another week to sit next to my coconut shy IPA, which I'm currently drinking.